Welcome to episode 222 of the Reptile Gumbo podcast. I have Katie and Robert here.
Both Yay!
Hi.
Sorry, I have like 40 bajillion things on my brain because I leave in 2 days.
You know what I just realized, James?
And I'm kind of freaking out.
I need a Reptile Gumbo sign for right there.
Yes.
Like something, I don't know, my big head would pretty much block the whole thing.
Over your other shoulder, your left shoulder.
I could just like that.
Yeah, you got a big old wall.
I wonder, can we order like posters with the logo on it from the shop?
I don't know, from the shop. I don't know.
I mean, you can get like clothes and all kinds of other stuff from there.
I don't know.
No Speedos. Sorry, Darren.
Darren's in the chat.
He always wants a Speedo.
No Reptile Gumbo podcast Speedos.
Nope.
How do I get to that shop, by the way?
It's linked on our Facebook page.
Oh.
If you look down underneath the bio, there's a link for our Patreon, which anybody out there, if you want to join our Patreon, we would greatly appreciate it. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. I'm trying. It's going to try and be more, but I appreciate like the extra $2 or $3 a month that some of y'all are willing to give us. Thank you. That helps out a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since I think in the next few months, I'm going to try and save up. I think I'm going to get a new camera. What?
But
I want to get one of those. So the DJI has the Action 4, which is like their version of GoPro, but I've been watching it. I kind of like it better. So I think I'm going to get a new camera, but it costs a little bit. It costs like $300. So I'm gonna save up and get one, and then we'll have 2 cameras. And then Katie, you can have a camera on you.
That's unacceptable.
And a camera on me, and I can go back and forth.
Not necessary.
I got the buttons here.
It's not.
And then
necessary.
Robert has his own camera now, so whenever we talk, I can hit buttons.
Oh my god,
make it look cool.
It's too much.
So anyways,
I bet there's a switcher. I bet there's a switch out there that you could set up that automatically turns to that camera when they start talking.
Oh, I don't know, but I have a fancy switch here. I have to see what it does. I bought it when we first started this podcast, and then we only ever had one camera, and haven't done anything with it. So I'll have to look into what it does. So yeah, cool. So if anyone wants to join our Patreon, help support us, and eventually I can buy a new camera. That'd be awesome. I also want to start if I get a new camera.
Or they could just join the Patreon, and this free to them podcast could become free to us. Until we are paying for the podcast, I don't know about you saving up money to buy more stuff.
To her, guys. She's a negative Nancy. I do have an idea, but when we get a new camera, I want to be able to do like small little interviews at reptile shows. Like just like go to people's table, have cool stuff on their table, just do a quick interview there about the animals and stuff they have there. That'd be kind of cool.
Sounds like a great job for you.
And you. So anyways. So yes, if you go to our Facebook page, there's a link to our Patreon, our shop where you can go buy shirts and all sorts of stuff, no Speedos. There's also a link to our website, which is the Reptile Gumbo Podcast at the reptilegumbopodcast.com. Thanks to our buddy Nathan, who has that great website up. If you've ever wondered who we've had on a show at any point in the last 222 episodes, you can go there and check it out and see what episode those people were on and go listen to them. That website is awesome. Thank you, Nathan. That's a great one. Also, I think a link to our Discord is in there as well. Go join our Discord. A lot of folks are in there chatting in our Discord. Lots of cool pictures. Our friend Sujak had some eggs, or had some babies hatch, had some half dwarf sperm babies, which is funny because our other friend, Michael Pinnell here in the States, just had some dwarf sperm eggs laid. So that's kind of cool. You don't see dwarf sperms a lot, so that'd be neat. So yeah, go join all that. My snake is still pregnant, for anybody that's wondering. I have no idea when. So Darren said once those babies drop, you'll be paid. Yeah, that money's already spoken for. I sold my last boa yesterday,
and then immediately bought rats,
and then immediately spent money on rats, and it made me sad that it didn't give me that many rats. So
yeah,
that makes me sad every time I have to order rodents now. It's just the cost for everything. Grocery stores is a sad place to go now.
Yes,
that was like your post the other day. It was like a handful of groceries.
Yeah, it was like 3 bags of groceries that I could carry in one hand, and it was $65.
Yep.
And there was no meat. There was no like nothing extravagant. It was just like basics.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh man. Anyways, anything else going on lately for anybody before we get into the show? Let's do some.
Yeah. So I posted a couple episodes back. I posted the quilt pattern for that really funky snake.
Yeah.
So I bought the quilt pattern at the end of May. And then because it's so large and because it's paper pieced, you have to print the pattern to sew onto the paper. And it was going to be like 46 sheets of paper if we printed it at home, and then we'd have to like piece it together, and it was going to be a hot mess. So I actually had it printed at Staples. I printed it on blueprint paper. So the finished thing is going to end up being like 48 inches wide by 60 inches tall.
Good quote for when I cuddle up on the couch and watch TV.
Yeah. So it's gonna be pretty cool. But I labeled all the pieces the other night when we were at Robert's. I like took up almost his whole table.
Yeah, Robert and I hung a TV up on the wall and it hasn't fallen down yet, right?
Not yet.
Yay.
But everything's labeled, and then I cut it all out last night, and there's 48 pieces to that quilt. So there's 48 sections that I have to put together. And
laughing at Darren. He said it's more expensive to wipe your ass than to buy new underwear every day.
He's probably not wrong. But yeah, and then you went through my entire bucket of fabric.
I went through all. So for the last 19 years that we've been together,
yeah,
whenever we're at a fabric store, I just buy, if it's reptile related fabric, I buy it. And I was like, what are we going to do with this? I'm like, I don't know. Well, now we found out what we're going to do with something.
I'm putting it in this quilt. So, I mean, it is not by any means putting even a small dent in some of the reptile fabrics that we have, but it's cool. That's cool. And there were actually some that you pulled out that I had bought for specific things that I had forgotten I had bought for. So I was like, nope, you can't use these. So
yeah,
that was exciting. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got going on.
Robert's gotten a few new animals to his
farm. I have the tailless whip scorpion.
That's cool. That's from our buddy JT.
Asian forest scorpion. Also from JT. He's bringing me 2 more Asian forest scorpions tomorrow and another tailless whip.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about Asian forest scorpions. So for my childhood growing up, everybody always had emperor scorpions. That was always everybody wanted a big black emperor scorpion, and you can only have like one. But now that they're near impossible to get and they're expensive, and Asian forests are kind of cool because you can keep them communally. So you're going to have 3 in a 20 long, right?
Yeah. So in a fully, planted 20 long that's going to be full of pothos once it all grows. It's already it's already taking root. And
awesome.
You're
about to say
yeah, we went to IKEA.
Yeah, the 3 of us went to IKEA. 2 of us for the first time.
Don't sleep on the plant department at IKEA. Like, that was the best part of the whole store.
Yeah. I got a big Monstera for $20.
Yeah. They put it right there at the end. So you got to go through it, like all 500 rooms.
Yeah.
Or go through the shortcuts.
Yeah.
We also ate Swedish meatballs at IKEA just because I wanted to. They're all right.
Awesome fried chicken.
We did go to a great fried chicken place after IKEA, which was Gus's.
Yeah, Gus's fried chicken.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So
we did. We forgot to take our cups with us.
Yeah, they're sitting on. They were on the table now. They were. Our cups said that one girl felt so bad. She was running all over the place.
She was busting her tail.
All right, Katie, let's get through sponsors.
All right. Sorry, I just took a big drink of water. All right, so we have Lil's Shop of Horrors, which operates a commercial feeder breeder facility based out of San Antonio, Texas, that specializes in rats, mice, dubia roaches, Madagascar hissing cockroaches, and more. As feeder breeders, they focus on the nutritional needs of the animals that consume them. Nationwide shipping is available on live insects, and for frozen rodent shipments, you should reach out to check availability in your area. If you're looking to place an order, feel free to contact them through any of their social media pages at Lil's Shop of Horrors, or email them directly through their inquiries page at lilsshopofhorrors.com.
Also, Herbst Reptile shows. Let's check out the Herbst Reptile shows that are coming up. The next one is July 20th, 21st in Slidell, Louisiana. And then not too far from there is over in Sulphur, Louisiana, about a week later. I say too far, it's the other side of the state, but it's not like the other side of the state. We're talking about Texas. So, but over in Sulphur, Louisiana, which is around Lake Charles area, what kind of used to be like the old Beaumont show as well, that area, July 27th, 28th, which we may or may not pop in there on our way back through.
It depends on how the drive home is going.
Yeah, as we're coming back from Alabama, from the mountains in Tennessee, because we're all going to be there. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, August 3rd, August 4th. Then down to Corpus Christi, Texas, August 10th and 11th. Then over to Bryan College Station, Texas, August 17th and 18th. Back to Louisiana for Baton Rouge, August 24th and 25th. And then Conroe, which we were just at Conroe, September 14th and 15th. And then our home show in November, Rosenberg, Texas, November 2nd and November 3rd. So
a lot going on.
Come to a Herb Show. I know that I'll be set up at Conroe and Rosenberg doing some interviews and stuff. So come by, see us. Speaking of interviews, our last Conroe interviews will be coming out in the next 3 or so weeks. So for the next 3 weeks, Katie will not be here. One of those weeks, we will probably have a guest. And then 2 of those weeks, we'll probably throw out our Conroe interviews. We did one Conroe interview that took like almost 2 hours with one person. I didn't realize it was going to last that long, but it was a great interview. So we turned that into one show. And then we did a couple of interviews on Sunday when Katie made it up there.
Mm-hmm.
And that will come out on the show when we're up in the mountains, because we're going to the mountains in 3 weeks.
I'm excited.
So, all right. Oh, and then I was going to mention our VivTech, but we're about to have them on here, so we'll talk about VivTech a ton coming up. So let's get to our guest. Our guests tonight are Erica and Ryan McVeigh of VivTech Products. Ryan is currently driving through the middle of nowhere, United States. So whenever he pops in, if his audio sounds like he's in a car, he's in a car.
I am in a car.
And we're using car audio, so we're being safe.
Yes, he is not holding his phone.
The video's not on or anything.
The cops are listening.
We are being safe.
My passenger is helping me out.
There you go.
Hi, baby.
And then there's Erica. I had someone post on, or someone shared the post earlier and said they wondered how many times Erica was going to yell Ryan, but Ryan's not there, so I don't know if she's going to yell Ryan as much on this episode.
Be surprised.
But yes, we have Eric and Ryan from VivTech Products. Again, if you want to buy LED UVB light bulbs, use code Gumbo22 and save 15% on your VivTech products. See, I fit that in all the time. Fit it in all the time. Every cage behind us is currently running a VivTech bulb.
Several in our house are, because everything from my classroom is here. So there's lots of VivTech bulbs here right now.
Our
I forgot. It's summer break. So you have to bring it home.
Yeah, and so everything but the guinea pig is here.
Drop that off yesterday.
We took her yesterday. My co-teacher and her daughter. Her poor husband doesn't know what he got himself into, but the two of them were like, "We'll watch her for the month of July." So we dropped her off yesterday, and because I leave in 2 days, and I'll be gone for 3 weeks, and I mean James will be gone for a week of that, but he doesn't want to take care of a guinea pig.
That's an understatement.
So, and she's already gotten loves and snuggles, and she's probably been given more attention in the last 2 days with the two of them.
That's good, because she squeaks every time you open anything.
Oh my God. They said she hasn't started that yet. Because she's still got hay in her. Give it time. From her hay bale, but give it time.
Oh, how's it going, Erica?
It's going good.
That didn't seem overly confident there.
She's been running the house while Ryan's been out of town. So
that means it's probably easier right now.
Oh, it's not that bad because there's only one kid here. So
yeah, she got a break. This is like a week vacation, a staycation.
But it's like weird because I went from all the kids to one kid, and now I'm like always kind of like hovering at like this level because I'm used to working with all the kids, and now I'm like, where are they? Where's Boogie? Where's they're too quiet. What are they doing? I'm like, oh no.
So when you say all the kids, are you lumping Ryan into that number?
I lump James into that number, so yes.
Usually. So instead of like 5 kids, I just have 1 in the house.
Yeah.
And it's the toddler. So that one's easy to keep track of.
The toddler that took a swan dive into the concrete yesterday.
Not a big deal. You just
Feels like Ryan's trying to blame you for something. Calm down, Ryan.
Heck no, that toddlers are crazy.
Yeah, she bumped her head. She got a cookie. She's fine.
I love it.
Uncle Mike in the chat wants to know if you've seen any Sasquatch, Ryan, on your trip.
No, we didn't see any awesome mammals. We actually didn't even see many herps. We stopped at a couple places hoping to looking for some speckled rattlesnakes, Great Basin rattlesnakes, and it ended up being 104 at 10 o'clock at night when we stopped, and I had to explain why we're not going to find anything.
And then weren't you looking for collar lizards and
I did find a really cool spot for collar lizards, but it was it was just at sundown, so I just missed them, and there was nothing to flip, and they were all in the crevices. We couldn't find them.
Do you want to let everybody know why you're coming back from Pomona?
Yeah, so that's where we're coming back. We me and my oldest drove out to Pomona, California from Chicago. One, because there's a lot of family and friends on the way to stop and hang with, and two, because the drive from Denver to Vegas is unreal. It'll change your life. So I wanted Peyton to see the mountains and the desert, and then we went out to the Pomona Pet Super Show. So that was pretty cool. Usually it's the reptile show this year, but this summer Rami, the promoter and owner of the show, opened it up to a whole venue for fish and another venue for birds and small animals, to try and bring in a lot more people, and it was packed.
How crazy is a fish expo? I've always wanted to go to a fish expo. It just seems so it's so easier for us to bring reptiles and put them in a deli cup and throw them on a table, but you can't really do that with a fish as easy.
Are nuts.
Oh, those guys have just vans with 55-gallon drums of water in it that they bring in on carts and use pumps to fill up every enclosure, coolers full of bags. It's pretty impressive to watch them do it.
And yet people still kill their goldfish going home from like the pet store to their house. These guys are going across the country in a van.
Yeah. But they also do like aquascape things there too. We went to one out here, and they were doing like aquascape, like what was it, like a contest or just like a display? They were doing like aquascaping for like shrimp, like where the shrimpies were and stuff like that. Yeah. Intense.
And we're like, no, just put some paper towel in there in a bowl and your snake will be fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's like some people are setting up entire saltwater like enclosures basically. It's crazy to see them, but like all the coral rocks all built out and 50 different fish in there, and it's all completely stable in 2 days. Versus, like you said, we try and do that and it doesn't usually go well.
When Darren asked, how can you make money having to set all that up? I mean, I imagine a lot of that stuff's expensive. Plus, people coming to those shows are probably looking to buy a lot. So
yeah, I mean, plus think about when you're talking about corals, you'd be talking about like, say like ZooMed's 40-gallon low boy or that 2x4 they've got. That's what that is. People just take that tank, fill it with salt water, put a little pump in there, put a tray, like just basically little trays in there filled with coral, and you can come around and just pick them out. So it's not all intense setups and huge tanks. It is a lot of like stacks of cups and bags, things like that. They use instead of filling the bags with just air and tying them off, they actually use little oxygen tanks, so they have a lot longer. They can be in a sealed bag, things like that. So just like we've got tricks of the trade to keeping our animals cool or warm at certain times of year and how to transport them and keep them clean, they have kind of developed a lot of ways to do that as well.
And then they also have just a lot of money that's in the side of maintenance too. So a lot of people will also sell the maintenance side and the service side of, you can set up these incredible enclosures in your home as like statement pieces and as living art. And then we will come and maintain them so that you don't have to do it. And for the nominal fee of whatever, we'll bring in the chemicals, we'll take care of this, and it'll cost less than you doing it at home, causing it to crash, messing it up. And that's how they sell it, as ease of use. So we'll make it all set up, and then we'll take it on, make sure everything stays stable. And in the long run, it costs you less than you screwing it up and then having to maintain all the chemicals and stuff like that, which actually does pan out.
Or if you have the luck of every one of your children at age 4 deciding to, quote, feed the fishies and crashing your entire tank.
Or give them the Target gift card.
3 times.
Oh.
Or burying gift cards in it because they woke up the night before Christmas Eve and found some gift cards or something, or they had some, so they buried them in the sand at the bottom of the aquarium. And then they were like, we didn't do nothing. And I'm like, your entire arm is salt.
That was a good and we had the cameras up, and we literally watched them open it, dig into the water, and we showed it to them.
Oh man,
our kids will die on the hill of it's not them. They're looking at a video of them and they're like, it's not me.
And the best part is they are all literally crusty with the salt too. Like there was no denying that it was salt.
Nowadays they can just yell, "It's AI!" I swear, it's all AI. That's not me.
Yeah.
To this day, they will still die on the hill that they didn't do it.
That's crazy. Yeah, I need to make it to one of those fish shows. I've always been impressed with. It just seems it seems so easy for us to set up, but it just the amount of water in a fish expo.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. So old Sea Anal Side Exotics there said her kid dumped 2 liters. Damn Canadians. 2 liters of orange juice into a shrimp tank when she was younger.
Oh.
Orange juice is supposed to be good for you.
Oh God.
Dude, you should see like when they have like sea lion shows and stuff there. Imagine having to set that up.
Jesus. We just have some dude bring a alligator with tape around his mouth out of his van and show it to people.
Now we make fun of the fish side sometimes, being like, oh, they're over the top. They bring, all this water and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they make fun of us because they're like, they literally take a reptile out of a van and they're like sketchy, like, hey, you want to touch my alligator? Like, we seem sketchy. And then when you look at it, we kind of are, when we want to touch our alligator.
Hey, kid, come rub my snake. Whoa, you can't say that everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have never met someone in a parking lot that was very dark and handed them a bag and then got cash and then got back in our cars and drove away. That's never happened.
I've never done that. I've never done that multiple times.
Have a tentacle snake for sale. I'm just saying, bud, you don't really have to keep a fish alive. You just got to throw them in.
Yeah, so in the chat it says if they keep fish alive, they keep a file snake or tentacle snakes. I like file snake. Tentacle snakes are cool if you have the right setup, but look, I have a fish tank and it is full of plastic plants and gravel because I know that there's no way on earth I'm keeping a plant alive. And if I was going to do tentacle snakes, I'd want a full like aquascaped, like live plants and everything for them to hide and look natural. And I'm too lazy.
We have a tentacled snake right now. It's one of the remaining from a big group that we got. And we're brokering. And so we have one left. She was pregnant when we got her. So we held on to her, hoping she would give birth soon. And it went from May until Christmas Eve when she gave birth. We keep her in a huge garbage can. Yep. Filled up with water, a nice filter in there, a light. My littlest one calls our garbage snake. It's beautiful.
Fucking reptile people. Look, see, there's
Snake.
Okay.
And she thrives in it. Like literally, she eats the best. She's best snake out of all of our snakes. She's the least picky eater.
Well, that was the thing. There's no glass. She's totally enveloped in there. It's all plastic on the sides. So I was trying to give her something where she could just be totally calm. And that's how she was. Now she's totally chilling there all the time.
Yep.
I love when people are like, do you have to keep tannins right? What about the filtration? Aren't these really hard to keep? I'm like, I have a hang on the side filter in a garbage can.
See, they're a cool snake. They are really cool. And when we had, I'm horrible at names, but I can't remember his name. We had the one guy we talked about file snakes before, and those are really cool. I'm too lazy to do water. I'm good enough to keep my fish tank alive for the most part, but I know that's it's why I keep boas. I'm lazy. Boas are lazy. It works great.
I heard you say you got a new boa.
I've got a pregnant boa.
Oh, nice.
Nice, except I don't know when. Technically, she got pregnant apparently, and I have no idea when she's gonna have babies.
Oh yeah, that's less fun.
Yeah. So I had a male with her for a while. And I saw lots of hookups, and so she never shed. And then like a month or two after I took the male out, then she sheds. I'm like, well, I think she's already pregnant. There's no way that shed is the shed I should start counting from. So she must be due. And this was like a month ago. She was not due a month ago. So now I'm starting to think that's the actual shed, which makes her due the week I go out of town on vacation.
Always.
Oh, that. Well, you're gonna have to get a in situ camera, stick it in there and watch her.
Yes, and for anybody else out there thinking about getting one, use code Gumbo22 and save 15% on all your VivTech products.
Damn, he's better at that than I am.
I just gotta fit it in there all the time. I know Robert wants to get more cameras for his stuff. He's got a Brettles that he wants to watch all the time. Which I want to do that for my blue tongue, I think, who just now ate and is now sitting on his rock like a big fat lump. Oh. Oh,
Yeah.
Jason Milhoradovich commented. He said he always has snakes born when he's out of town. That is true. I know last year he was here and he was here in Texas, and in Colorado he had his Brazilian rainbow boas give birth, or Colombian. It was one of the boas. So it's gonna be me.
Yeah, it's always when you're out of town, holidays, bad weather, something like that. Guaranteed.
Luckily,
Well,
I have Robert.
I'm out of town, and Erica dug up our first fertile peacock monitor eggs in a year and a half.
That's awesome.
Out of a flooded cage too. I was like, why?
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
went in to change the flooded cage because I'm like, God damn, like because our system decided to Ellie, out. Sorry.
We have a couple knobs or a couple connections in our misting system that are old, and I keep finding them dripping. And so I'm going through and finding them because in one night they super saturate the dirt or actually like get a layer of water in there. So we have to rip them apart right away in the morning.
Thank you, Alex.
Your setup behind you, Erica, is starting to look like Uncle Mike's place.
We're striving for the best, so that's why.
Yeah,
it looks good.
Right over her one shoulder in the back is actually a Mertens monitor from Uncle Mike, and then in the one to the other side, that is the spinulosus.
See, there's just too many legs. This is what I told Corey Martin. Corey Martin switched over to monitors. I'm like, I can't do it. They eat too much. They run around too much. I need lazy animals.
The Mertens is actually pretty chill. She's easier to handle. The spinulosus like to play the game of, oh, it's Erica. She's coming in with the food. And so they will, kind of go one way, go the other way, come over my shoulder. If it's Ryan, they're like, yeah, we're not getting anywhere.
Yeah, that's because if they try to get over my shoulder, I'll slap them in the face.
Yeah.
They only do that once. And the other time they bit me and you had to stitch me back together.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And then the last time they got out with me, they destroyed your sock.
Yeah, they smelled human and just destroyed it. So she couldn't get it out of their mouth. So I had to come home from work and get my sock out of the enclosure.
Yeah, they took it and then started to bury it.
Yeah, y'all are really selling me on wanting monitors. This sounds great.
Our other spinulosus are absolutely fantastic.
Well, there's one spinulosus that I wanted to. They're spazzy. They're very fast. They don't trust very well. They're very scared and skittish. So I worked on a wild caught one and getting it to trust me, and it took years. But finally, I've got one that I can actually go pick up. I can pet. And she got the other male in there that's actually a captive bred animal to calm down. He's my biggest psycho, and he's an F1. But no, so that cage where you can actually go in, hand the animals the food, pet them a little bit. The male's still a little skittish, but yeah, those guys are crazy.
Either one of y'all look your arm. Oh yeah, no, we had that conversation before you got on. So, but either one of y'all, when y'all go out in public, do your arms look like you should someone call help for you? Because yeah. See, last time I saw Corey at Corey Martin, her arm, do you need help? Do we need to call somebody to help you?
That's why you just keep getting more and more tattoos to cover
them up.
And then your tattoo artist comes and sits at the counter and glares at you from across the room
because you ruined his work.
Yeah.
So if you had snakes, you wouldn't have ruined the work.
Yep, she's just sitting there glaring at me as I'm trying desperately not to make eye contact with her now as she's watching the kid. Is that a new bite or scratch? No.
Oh, yeah. I always see that on monitor people. I'm like, man, when they go out in public, it's got to look rough. Just to people that have no idea.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's cool. Iguana people are the same way though.
Iguanas,
yeah.
At the same time, I don't want to try to cuddle them because I don't like bleeding.
But you're supposed to boop its snoot and give it a hat and make a jacket for it. And
you can absolutely boop the snoot of one of my spinulosus, and you can look at the tendons in your finger like I did.
I'll pass. That was so we have an interview coming out in a couple weeks that we did at Conroe with one guy who got bit by a capybara on the wrist, and it was gross. Like I saw when he showed me the pictures, you could see the tendons no longer connected, hanging out, and it's just giant hole. Oh,
yeah, those are like Satan's pet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Erica is allergic to all guinea pig relatives. So a capybara is her like allergy Godzilla.
Yeah, it's like looking at like Satan's butthole, like right in my face, and then being like, "Hello."
Got it. So if anybody wants to get Erica, just throw a capybara in her house and run.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yeah, if you just touch a cavy and then write your name on her arm, it'll come out in red dots.
Oh.
So our daughters did that. We had a friend who had a Patagonian cavy, and all our daughters did was just like touch the touch the travel crate, and then like they touched me, and I had welts from where their fingers were.
Ugh.
That's awful.
Yeah, so she's allergic to guinea pigs. Our other good friend that helps us out with the animals is allergic to rabbits, and we're getting into super dwarf retics. So I am feeding the tiniest pigs you can possibly buy.
You know what? Just say screw them, Ryan, and you feed what you want to feed.
Yeah, you take all 5 kids on your own. Yeah.
That's
so crazy. I mean, I'm allergic to.
How many of us with all these allergies would have just died 200 years ago?
Right?
I would have been fine. I'm not going to South America. I'm in North America. I'm fine.
Don't worry. Based on your skin color, you'd have been fine because you'd have been in Europe.
Well, that's true too. Again, really far away.
Not an issue.
So,
that's right.
Oh, all right. I want to get into a couple of things. We'll get into the question we posted later, but I want to get into because this came up.
Yeah, there she is, Anne.
This came up a few weeks ago. It was in a
U.S. ARC
magazine. It was in U.S. ARC. It's been several things, but it's the light bulb ban as everything is going on. And so I was like, hey, let me reach out to the 2 people I know that know the most about light bulbs and find out about the light bulb ban. So
what it is, whether or not we need to be worried, what's going on?
So this is basically what is happening right now. All bulbs have had energy efficiency like ratings and laws come up, and that's why you don't find incandescents anymore at the stores. That's why you don't find halogens anymore. We all saw them phased out. The whole idea is that that's general use lighting. All reptile lighting has always been considered specialty lighting, so it wasn't under the same regulations, and we didn't have to worry about it. For some reason, they didn't differentiate that in either a new update or there's some confusion about the bulbs. Right now, ZooMed is working with the Department of Energy to get that sorted so that these are listed as specialty use. Because the other thing too is, and I was talking to some people today and throughout the weekend, it's not just us. The poultry industry uses incandescent bulbs.
Right.
Other farming industries use incandescent and halogen bulbs for heat for animals. We're not the only ones. So there's a significant amount of people that'll be affected by this. Roughly 9% of American households have reptiles. So they're going to kill the pets of 9% of their constituents. It's not going to go well.
Well, yeah, all those brooder lights and every chicken things are red incandescent bulb.
Mm-hmm.
Not taking into account the amount of exotic mammals that also use them too. And mammals are much cuter. Zoos that are using.
I disagree.
And most
puppy little brooders.
Yep.
Like the little puppy brooder things use heat lights.
Anything for babies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Zoos use them.
Mm-hmm.
So while it is incredibly frustrating, I think that's honestly part of the reason that Exoterra and Zilla and us and other companies haven't gotten the same letter, is I believe that they're probably going to come to some conclusion. But this literally is what I've been saying when it comes to the UV bulbs and all the other bulbs. At some point, we are going to have to continue to justify making them, and we are still only a byproduct of the housing market. So if all of housing in the entire world bans halogens, there will be no company on earth that has any reason to make them, and our industry is not big enough unless it is one business making all of them for everyone, and it would be difficult to get that. So eventually what's going to happen is every company is going to be making the newest updated lighting for homes, and our pets get the byproduct lighting. There won't be byproduct lighting.
That's also how we came up with like heat panels and how we got ceramic heat emitters. Those were all byproducts of different manufacturing systems or commercial heating, things like that. So as those improve and as different heating technologies actually improve, we're going to start to see a trickle down effect where those can start to be altered for more pet based or more animal based or agriculture based uses. And then it'll be just assumed that we can use those in place of halogen lamps. Will those be better? Not necessarily, especially for reptiles, but it might work great for like birds, or it might work great for mammals. And that will be what they're focusing on, because they're going to focus on what's going to be the bigger industry. The bigger industry isn't going to be pet bird, it's going to be poultry. It's going to be, your avian culture for raising your farm products. So you're going to be looking at that. It's going to be looking at how do you raise your meat rabbits faster? How do you raise your cows faster and your piglets faster? So that's what we're going to be up against. So there are going to be advances, and we're going to get the byproducts of those.
Well, and that's where that's where we're going to have to take a look, and we'll be speaking with even our manufacturers and some different people all over the world, actually. Just kind of trying to understand outside of like, what if I want to understand the efficiency ratings they're looking for and what that really means to us, as well as like, just can we do anything to make the halogens better? Just overall, period. Can we make them last longer? Can we continue to improve them? Just because companies that make those bulbs want you to replace them, what can we do to, make them better? But no, I don't think that I don't think they're going to be banned permanently. I don't think this is going to stop everything. It's just, we do need to be aware that this does happen. We do need to be calling our senators and messaging our representatives and letting them know that there is something out there that is causing potentially 9 to 10, 15% of their constituents to lose their ability to properly care for their pets until they die a horrible, painful death. So that's kind of should hopefully stop that and get some attention to it. As well as, if guys, any state you're in that deals with farms, if you know some, whatever, call them, get them 4-H, get them involved and let them know that this is happening and they're about to lose access to all of their poultry lighting and heat lighting. So if they need it for anything, it's going to be gone, and get them involved as well.
And you also want to get anybody that's in your veterinary side to talk to their state association for the veterinarians, because that doesn't directly impact them too. So one of the things, though, that people have been asking is what is the difference between a general service lamp and then a pet specialty lamp? And that is the lumens per watts is what they've been really focusing on. So anything that's considered general service, which is what you would use in your home, their reasoning is that you won't need heat from a bulb. And so you would need more light than heat. And with halogens and incandescents and even fluorescents, a lot of times the extra energy becomes heat. And that's just a byproduct of the design. And so the idea is that more efficient bulbs are going to produce more light than heat, and it will produce at least, at the very minimum, 45 watt or 45 lumens per watt of energy. So it will produce way more light than it will heat. Unfortunately, that means that the halogens that we have now would not produce the heat that we need. So it would produce far more light. They would be brighter, which would be great, but they wouldn't produce as much heat because they would become more efficient, which is why that's problematic for the Baskins bulbs and why Zoomeds and some other ones, but particularly Zoomeds, basking bulbs, their day bulbs, and their halogens that were under 125 watts, those were pulled. because they don't meet those criteria. Ones that are over 125 watts weren't pulled because technically they do meet those criteria at this point. But that's also why the UVB compact fluorescents were also pulled, was because they do not meet those criteria. But LED UVB does meet those criteria. And that also is what's used in manufacturing and things like that as well. And what they want moved over, and that they're really focusing on moving over to, is UVB lighting, especially in the homes and in manufacturing situations. So that's kind of what the idea behind the Department of Energy's thought was on that situation, and why we're in this situation right now is because we're looking at it from an energy efficiency standpoint. That's also why those particular bulbs were tagged. It's not because it was malicious towards the reptile industry. It was because those bulbs were looked at from the viewpoint of an energy efficiency standpoint for some reason. It could have honestly been a code situation. It could have been, just somebody grabbed those and just looked at them from an efficiency standpoint and decided to label them as general use. But it's not an attack on the reptile industry per se. So one of the things that USARK has put together that is extremely important, like Ryan said, was contacting your legislation, but also contacting the Department of Energy itself. And the email address for that is Energy Efficiency Enforcement at hq.doe.gov. And I can put that in the chat. And what they're looking for right now is any kind of data. So if you have actual data on it, or you can write send a sample message that's from USARK. You can send a sample message from there and then alter it a little bit with some information. But being polite and sending that information will help, because right now being
polite is the important part.
Yes, because they are actually actively taking in information from herpetologists, from professionals, from ZooMed, from USARK. They are actually actively taking in information and working with us on this lighting issue. And if there is a ban on all these bulbs, they decided not to change this, then all bulbs will be banned. And that includes bulbs that are similar to the basking spot lamps under 125 watts, the daylight bulbs under 125 watts, halogens that are under 125 watts, UVB compact fluorescents, and UVA compact fluorescents. And that is from USARK. So that is an important part right there.
Uh-oh.
So as of right now, it is not an all-out ban.
Well, that's the whole thing.
But it can be if we do not
the
professionally. Sorry.
Well, and we've seen the loss of halogen bulbs in like Lowe's and Home Depot, because look, a lot of us in the hobby, to save money, will go buy, if we just need a heat bulb, we used to go buy incandescent bulbs from Home Depot or Lowe's. So I guess the other concern for a lot of people is going to be, if we don't lose the bulbs and they do allow us to still make, say, the ones for reptiles, I just wonder if you're going to see, not counting for inflation, because that's been fucking insane, but just a price increase when people are like, well, look, this is the only bulb you can get now. So now it's $5 more, $10 more than it used to be.
You're going to see that with all of the major companies. They already did that during COVID. They used that as an excuse to margin grab and make everything expensive. I know for a fact that halogen bulbs that ZooMed and Zilla and Exoterra get, they pay between $1 and $2, and they're on the shelf for $30. So they make significant margin already. When we've been bringing them in, we try and meet as close as we can to the Home Depot type price without making it where we can't function. But our margin is significantly lower, so trying to keep it low. But no, we will see an increase. We're going to see an increase, and part of that's supply and demand. The demand just got cut off for an entire country. It's going to go down. There's not going to be as many companies making as many, so the cost will go up. And eventually it's going to get pretty bad, more so with fluorescence. I think halogen lighting will be around for third world countries in a lot of places for a long time. But I do see fluorescent bulbs taking a hit and becoming incredibly difficult to get. That's another reason we've been pushing LED UV. Even if you have concerns and it's not perfect, we need to support the companies that are doing it, get it as far as we can, as fast as we can, because that is going to be something we're going to run up against one day.
Yep. And to answer a question that I have seen online and that I've actually answered a couple of times on the phone recently is yes, tomorrow, July 3rd, is the day that the Department of Education, good Lord, I've been talking to my sister so much. The Department of Energy does put the full ban into effect for general service lamps. So that is when they are no longer going to allow the manufacturing and sale of those lamps that I had talked about before for general use in your home. So that's all that means. It's just for your home, but the specialty bulbs will still be able to go. So it doesn't mean that they're not going to allow that they're going to pull all the bulbs off the shelves. You don't need to panic. There's no need to panic yet because they're still talking and they're still working with us. So there's no need to panic. If you want to, sure, you can, but there's not really a need for it because we can still purchase our bulbs. The specialties can still, create them and manufacture them. That's not an issue. It's just you can't buy halogen floodlights for your yard. That's all that means. So you can still buy, the lamps for your mastics and things like that. You just might have to search a little bit harder to find the brand you like. If you were loyal to Zoomed, you might have to switch over for the time being to a different brand for a little bit.
And Zoomed has probably the biggest distribution, and that's where you're going to see the shortages. While they put a hold on the stock that they have, but there is a significant stock in distribution. It's all just on hold. So At some point that's going to get released again, or, assuming that this goes the way we all think it will. But again, you have to remember too, it's not just reptile people. We're not the only ones that need heat from bulbs. The agriculture industry is so much bigger than us. And even if they use a fraction of the number of bulbs, they have way bigger arms to swing.
Yep. And they have a lot more lobbying power than the pet industry does when it comes to this. So that's why you need your friends.
But at the same time, I also am going to point out, this is going to, for us, cause a significant amount of energy and time for us going into what is the next option? If halogen goes away and we can't stop it, what is our next option? Because a lot of the things like ceramic heat emitters and heat projectors, even things that are energy efficient and are used for different types of lighting, so they're not really lighting, they're heating, so they're categorized differently, but they use significant amounts of IR B and C, not IRA. And infrared A is what converts the D3 process and calcium process in the skin and allows reptiles to utilize what they need for heat. So that's the heat that actually absorbs into their body. And we've got to find what is the next option or technology that needs to be pushed to create a significant amount of infrared A for reptiles.
Yeah, because my normal go-to is usually a ceramic heat emitter and then a VivTech UVB bulb next to it, so I can give them heat and light. Because a lot of stuff I want to give, it's in my house, it's air conditioned. I provide a hot spot throughout the night, except for my blue tongue, who's now randomly walking around the table.
He knocked over a cup earlier. He's spoiled rotten.
But he has the VivTech halogen bulb. I got him a halogen bulb because at night I don't care if his temp drops pretty low, but he'll lay underneath that. He just ate and then laid underneath the halogen bulb for a while and then now started walking around. So I was like, let me take him out. And
no, he didn't start walking around. He came over to the side of the tank where James was sitting, plastered himself against the tank and started scratching until James opened the door to take him out. Let's be honest about this lizard.
Yeah. So heads up, if anything turns off during the podcast,
it's because he's letting his blue tongue just randomly wander around this table.
He may step on something.
And that guy is just cruising the room yelling, "Freedom!"
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So
I had wrecking ball in my head, so same thing.
Yeah. This lizard is, I swear, every time I come in here, he is more spoiled than the last time I saw him.
They're awesome. It's a snake.
Notice he does not deny.
It's a snake with legs.
He doesn't deny this at all.
They're great.
Complaining about things that have too many legs.
Yes, but they don't eat as much as all of y'all.
He has wanted this blue tongue for as long as I can remember.
It's a snake with legs. They're lazy.
He is very
easy to feed.
It's so lazy as it destroys half of the studio.
Part of the studio. It may start eating Katie's pins in a second, but we'll see what happens.
No, he was just smelling everything.
Well, he knocked the one. I had one deli cup that I used
for crickets.
When we and he could smell the crickets, and he knocked the thing off trying to get to it. But so the ban, like I said, it gets close to everything, and everybody in our hobby they throw out the word ban, and we all freak out pretty quick because every time we've seen ban, it has not been good. But you're saying there is still hope, so we can still hold out some hope. It's not like a large constrictor ban, and then they're all.
There is still hope because it's more than just us.
Yeah.
Right.
And we also do need to still make some noise. So one thing I will say to everybody, and it is difficult, and I catch myself doing it sometimes where I'm just like, I'm busy. I know other people are taking care of this, but this one is one where we have to be really, really loud. So hopefully this doesn't pop back up again anytime soon.
There is. I know who you're. I know what you're talking about with not for. It's only for pet use. That it's not going to make a difference. It's not the problem.
They're just concerned about energy usage, I guess.
It's not the problem. ZooMed. It's not the problem. That's not the problem. It's not the problem.
So it's not the problem, guys. Calm down. In our chat, someone said the blue tongue looks like he was hanging out with tacos.
It's their thank you cards, but I haven't started writing.
But they look
them
like
yet.
tacos.
But they are. It says talk about awesome, and James picked them out for me.
Yes,
they're tacos. But I had some kids that did exceptionally well on the state test this year, and so I wanted to send them like I'm super proud of you card, but I just haven't written them out yet.
All right. So now,
anyways,
I want to get to the fun part where it's like the first time I've seen Erica get defensive online, and it was fun.
What?
Erica sells
she knows what
illegal light bulbs.
I do not.
They're not banned yet.
So
okay, Ryan says you do.
I every time. So there are two groups I have found on Facebook to not be the best groups for people to join in the reptile community. One, we've talked about it in detail, is the chameleon group. Most of those people on Facebook are fucking nuts. Stay away from them. Don't listen to them. They're horrible. The other, Jesus Christ, is the light bulb group. Reptile lighting group on Facebook is a scary place. And every time someone asks about UV lights, I, of course, will chime in. They should check out VivTech products and go use code Gumbo22 and say 15% on all their LED UVB light bulbs. And I many times have met with.
They are very loyal to fluorescent.
Yes, and really they're really loyal to one brand, but
yes, they are very loyal to Arcadia and fluorescent.
So you're met with a lot of hostility.
Arcadia is kind of like iPhones. Like they're really good at marketing, but they're pretty much the same as everything else. They're just a little bit better on this. They're a little worse on this. It is what it is. They're just really good at marketing.
Yes, and I got told to stand down and behave.
So I posted, and then I got a whole report from I don't know who about how VivTech bulbs, about how they're illegal in Europe.
Yeah, they're not. He tried to he called one of the state departments in the UK to try and get us banned for killing animals, which has never happened.
Jesus.
And we're not banned. And then he said, and then he reported us for not having the UL and Rose listing on our bulbs and not having them certified. That was which was actually fair. Because we legally, in order to be there, had to have that, and we did have it, but the boxes were printed before that, so it's just a rolling change we have to do. And we talked to the department, and they're like, "Yeah, that's not a big deal. You have the certificates." And nothing happened, and we haven't sent any more to the UK because the importer that I had. Just kind of, he's had some issues with other stuff, and he's not bringing in a lot of stuff right now. So we kind of just decided, you know what, we're having a hard time keeping stock, period, because we sell out every time we bring them in. let's just focus on what we've got here and get caught up before we work on all the other countries. And that's the only reason that we haven't sent more there. But he's convinced that the threatening email he sent me, blackmailing me into taking down all of my bulbs that I didn't reply to, because he was saying either do it or I'll release you this report. And I was like, well, if it's true, then release it. So if it's
Is that the one he
true,
kept
whatever.
linking in there saying how you have a ton of UVC or whatever? And
yeah, so he has an incredibly high end and expensive spectrometer. And our spectrometer and the one that Dr. Baines and Dr. Wunderlich both have, who are the people over in Germany that do all the bulb testing. Just park, dude. What are you doing? And then so they do all the bulb testing, and they use the same one we have. That's why we bought it. And he has one that's a lot better than even they have, that most universities don't.
And they're the ones that everybody references to when they say, hey.
Yes. So
like it is.
They already said we have no They already said we have no UVC. We read them we check every single bulb under that spectrometer. He also said we don't test any of our bulbs. We absolutely do. We've done videos of it. We record everything. We check every bulb, and so does our manufacturer. But no, ours does not get down to 1 microwatt, which is almost immeasurable. His does. And that was the difference. If you get within 10 centimeters, or basically if you get within, well, the readings he sent me were within 1 centimeter with the glass off and everything off it. You can get
an unrealistic way of keeping a bulb.
Yeah, you can get a tiny little bit of UVC. And that is only if you use one of the highest end spectrometers that exists. That's the only way you could see it. And I asked him, I said, well, have you used this to do every single one? Because if we're relying on Dr. Baines and Dr. Wunderlich's graphs, and you're telling me that our bulb has UVC, but they said it doesn't because yours has a higher definition, then don't you have to redo all of them? And you can tell me with complete reasonable faith that all Arcadia bulbs, if you were to go right against the glass, have no UVC at all whatsoever. And that's the thing. He won't release. He told me that other companies
told everybody. It was public.
Stop,
Erica, I'm just gonna smack James for you because like I'm watching your eye, like I'm waiting for it to start twitching.
It is, and I'm gonna get in trouble with Ryan again. Thanks,
James.
What?
So,
You're
listen,
so evil.
Yeah, Erica's not gonna say nothing because she goes off and she starts getting in her head and saying things that aren't actually totally true because she's upset. So we're not gonna do that. So anyway, no, so he is able to see that really tiny little bit of light. And I asked him if he was doing all other lights, and he said no. And then he said that if we would have just taken all our bulbs off, he wouldn't have released the report, just like all the other companies that did what he said. But he only asked us to pull them in the UK, and then he never released the reports of those other companies. So there are bulbs that he's aware of that are producing UVC, but because they did what he said, he's allowing that to happen and allowing all of us to continue to buy UVC bulbs, and he's not saying anything.
So what kind of power does he actually have?
None. He's just a dude that has a really expensive spectrometer. I have no idea where his background is. And then he just started asking a lot of questions in that group, became someone that he made a company helping zoos with their lighting. And all of a sudden he's just a guy that everybody knows. And I don't even know his technical background at all. So I'm not sure, but he could literally be a physicist. I don't know. I do know that Dr. Wunderlich, who first took our bulbs and tested them, is a lighting physicist. So I trusted what she said first, not the dude that showed up and made some reports.
Yeah.
But realistically, when
people not in education try to tell me what I need to do in my classroom, it just pisses me off.
It is possible that our bulbs at a very, very close range are producing 1 to 2 microwatts of UVC. And that to me is something I already am working on, trying to see if that's something I can reduce, because I don't like that it does at all. I don't have a spectrometer or anywhere I can send my bulbs that isn't insanely expensive to test that other than his report. So I just either have to take his word for it or
it's also possible that everyone else does too.
Yeah, that's the thing. But ours is the only report he brings up every time he's asked about it. He doesn't bring up any of the other reports, and he doesn't talk about any fluorescent lighting, and he doesn't release any of fluorescent lighting at that close using the same spectrometer. He did it to us and a bunch of people. We were the ones that said, we're not scared of you blackmailing us. So he posted it, and now he posts it everywhere, telling people not to use our lighting. He's called our customers and told them to get rid of our stuff, that they'll kill animals, even though there's not one precedent for that at all. We've only had one animal injury in the entire time of our business, and it was someone that put a midday blaze on a 12 by 12 by 18 agricoli gecko.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, it cooked it, and they even said it was their fault.
Oh yeah.
And that thing got some barely burns. It really honestly only had some discoloration on its skin and some cloudiness on its eye. And that was it. And then it shut off and it was fine. And that was their fault. Other than that, we've never had anyone call us about an animal with any issues at all. Vitamin deficiencies, hypervitaminosis D3. And anybody can say that doesn't mean that it's not happening, and they're right. I also use over 100 of them in our house. We don't have any issues. I mean, we're trying to work towards getting our own study together to look at the animals over time, because no universities are willing to do it. And none of them are doing another study after that ZooMed one from like 9 years ago. So the only way that we're going to get answers is if we do it internally. And I understand that there's a little bit of a conflict of interest there, but we're going to try and make it as transparent as possible once we start that study.
Well, yeah. And I look, I use them on all mine. I've never had an issue. And I know Robert walked away for the 1 second I was going to bring it up, but his story when he first used it on his bearded dragon, who he saw run from the other side of the cage to the UV light.
Oh yeah.
And that's a normal thing. I tell people that happens. It's crazy. And then how they change their behavior. Like, you can scream all you want about UVB, but the UVA that our bulb puts out is better than any other light bulb that exists.
I know my tortoise, I have 2 redfoot tortoises on one, and they, they're, I don't know, but 6 inches, James, probably from front to back.
Maybe a little less, but yeah, they're small.
Less, but I have a camera in their enclosure, and I'll pull it up during the middle of the day, and they're both laying under the UV with all 4 legs stretched out and their head stretched out as far as they can, just absorbing it.
Well, so a couple people in the chat who talked about their experience and changing bulbs. I would strongly recommend trying the LED UVB bulb from VivTech. Look, one, it'll last you for forevers, which is the reason I don't have dimming ones, because I bought the non-dimming ones and they're lasting for forevers. But
I told you, we just got to get more stuff that needs the bulbs.
No,
and then you can rotate them out.
No,
everybody wins.
But yeah, and plus, I'm just saying the LED UVB bulb was out before Arcadia's, because Arcadia said that it couldn't be done and then magically did it like 2 months later. But whatever. That's just, use VivTech is what I'm trying to say. Our buddy Jason Miloradovich said, can you explain, and we've talked about it before, but can you explain the difference between UVA, B, and C? Because C is the one that everybody tells you, it's horrible and your animal will die, which is, it's not good. So if you can just give a brief A, B, and C.
So super quick, A regards mental health, B is physical health, and C is sterilization. So UVC sterilizes biological material. What we're talking about in the UV spectrum really isn't UVC. It depends on who you're talking to, but it's the wavelengths that destroy biological material are not the wavelengths we're talking about. The ones we're talking about can cause photokeratinitis in reptiles, but it has to be extremely high output, and it has happened in the past, but it has to be very high output. 1 microwatt doesn't do anything. 5 microwatts doesn't do anything. So that's UVC. UVB is what we all know for synthesizing vitamin D3, metabolizing calcium. And then, hold on a second. And then UVA it directly affects hormonal development in animals' brains, including ours. So serotonin is balanced by UVA. Cortisol from stress is reduced from UVA. Oxytocin in gravid females is regulated. Melatonin, all of those things are regulated by UV.
Is UVA, is that the visible light?
Yeah, they can also see UVA, and actually leopard geckos and some other animals can even see UVB. Gotcha.
Yeah, it always drives me nuts when people are like, "Yeah, I bought a UV light," and like they come home with like it's just a reptile light. It's just a regular like.
Yep.
Heat.
Or even if it's UVB, they all say UVA, but
yes.
The UVA they have is a tiny little spike of power. It's not a full spectrum, like a full broad swing through the UVA. So while it technically does have it, it doesn't have a usable amount of it.
Or a plant light. Plant light's not the same thing.
And then like when you see UVA on any kind of heat bulb or daylight bulb, that's a neodymium coating on the bulb. It does produce UVA, but it's negligible. It's not even, it's enough for them to say it has it, but not enough for your animal to use it.
And that's what really screws up first time people when they're like, I bought a UV bulb and it says UVA. And you're like, yeah, that's not it.
Yep. And
or you could just
then,
be like, that's not what I told you to buy.
Yeah.
Yep. Or even then that bulb, it's the UVA heat bulb. So it's that animal can't even get close, get burned
like,
to get the UVA.
I sent you the link to VivTech to the specific bulb that you needed
calm down,
and
Katie.
gave you the code.
That's specific. That's a specific situation. You know.
No,
family.
it's all the situations. Next year
I
we're getting you guys all VivTech cattle prods, and it'll work.
Yeah.
We'll convince people whether they like it or not.
You may not want to do that. Erica may do that on you.
Yeah, she got way too excited, and we've got kids and me in the house. I feel like I know what's going to happen. See where this is going.
So so in the chat, William Tell said yes, for snakes he wants to do UVB. So my problem, I always worry about UVB in a snake cage. It's not because of the bulb, it's just fixture wise, because like it's easy to keep a light bulb away from a lizard, but my damn snakes will just pull everything off. So that's always been my problem, is getting a light bulb into a cage.
We have those bulbs in every single cage, including a cage with a 16-foot retic, cage with tons of small snakes, big snakes. They can climb on it. They push it all over the place. It's not hot enough to hurt them. If they smash it into the wall, it doesn't do anything. I just turn it around again.
My problem is just, so right now I've got in most of my 4-foot cages just LED light, just a cheap like under counter LED lights, like 3-foot. And the problem is if I don't get the cord butted up right against the back of the cage when I put it in, they yank that whole thing down off the top. That's been my issue with them.
Yeah, you gotta use more VivTech swivel.
That's true.
He meant
The only thing you have to do is drill a 1/4-inch hole in order to install it. It's very simple.
I was just looking. I was looking through the chat. So Erica, yeah, when you get those make sure you get the UVB testing thing before the cattle prod. I want that first, and then
screw that.
We're working on it.
So,
the cattle prod.
what is the oldest VivTech bulb you have running in your house?
No, honey, this one it's on test. It's been running since November of.
Do you want me to go look?
I actually have to find all the paperwork and notes of how long this thing's been running hours wise, but it's somewhere around 50 or 60,000 minimum, and it's got to be way more than that. It's been running almost nonstop. We turn it on and off I turn it on and off every once in a while, but it's been running pretty much nonstop since November of 2020. It's still running on my desk.
So since we're talking,
that's crazy. Yeah. So for anybody wondering why that's wondering why that's important, when you buy those or used to buy those curly Q fluorescent bulbs, and they tell you have to change it after 6 months. That's because yes, it can still give light for the next however long it runs, but after about 6 months, all the UV has worn off on that thing and it's not working anymore because it's a coating on it and it's not working anymore. Whereas with the VivTech bulbs, Brian's talking at that thing, it's 4 years now and it's still giving off the same amount of UVB. So when someone looks at a price for a bulb of $30 versus $100, you've got to look into the fact that $100 is going to last you 4, 5, 6, 7 years.
That was our first run of them too. So that's our first generation non-dimmable, and that would also be the one that's gone through 2 or 3 different power outages.
Yeah, as well as I do want to make this point. This was kind of cool. We've had some returns over the years from faults. There are electronics in it that can have issues or have loose soldered wires, things like that we found. But we just in May got our first burnout ever from the first bulbs we sold in 21.
Oh, from Earl.
Yeah.
And he had our first bulbs ever.
So out of curiosity, when you get UVB lights, so like James has a lot of the lights. Well, I think all of the lights in this room are all on timers.
Yeah.
So they shut off at a certain time. But is that everything? Like their heat, their like what is turning off?
No, in this room it's just light.
So it's just the light.
Except for the blue tongue who's got a UV light and a halogen light. So at night his heat is also off because the halogen light's off. But like
But like the UVs, like you turn your UVs off at night and then turn them back on in the morning.
Actually,
Do you leave them running 24/7?
No, you should do 12-12. Like most of the time, especially for UV, and especially for our bulbs, that UVA also affects like your circadian rhythm, and it affects animals and how they sleep. So if you leave it on 24/7, it's like people in Alaska have to get crazy blackout curtains to sleep. Otherwise, your brain is constantly going.
I think that's why we slept so late today.
Well, the blackout.
Oh, seriously, blackout curtains will stop you from waking up because the light doesn't hit you. That's why when you're camp, like if the light ever comes in the room, you wake up really freaking early. That signals your skin and your eyes, even through your eyelids, to wake you up.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons that I don't sleep as long at the camp that I go to every summer, because I don't have the dark curtains on my windows in my cabin. So as soon as the light hits, then I'm up.
Well, and like with the lights coming on and off, I'm sure many of you will see, like, I'm sure, Robert, you've seen with your tortoises, when their lights come on, they probably come out. That's probably the moment they come out. And a lot of times you'll see, go ahead.
Yeah, it comes on at sunrise. And as soon as that light comes on, I'll walk over there and both of them are looking up like, where's the food, man?
When a lot of them will learn that circadian rhythm, they'll learn that also the time frame. Like you'll see a lot of them come out in the afternoon to bask, knowing that they're about to go up for the night too.
Your sulcatas in Louisiana do that.
Outside, they do that.
They'll come out, and then like as it starts to get dark, or like as dusk starts to settle, they'll start heading back to their their bunker.
It's important. It's really important to have them on timer. That's why I need to get me a VivTech timer, because, well, it doesn't matter because I can't ramp up and ramp these down because I don't have dimmable ones. But but I need to get the timer from y'all that has the ability to ramp them up and ramp down, because that's one problem with like your generic light timers you buy off of like Amazon.
So then it'll be like the fish tank.
Yeah, they have an on off, but what you really want for these guys is a sunrise, sunset, and give them that, because I'm sure that for our chameleon, it's not fun in the morning when all of a sudden all of his lights come on.
Bam!
4 lights up there.
Wake up.
It just goes from dark to light. But my fish tank, I've got a fish tank light that does that. It's got a sunset and sunrise, and it's kind of cool to watch the changes in them.
So I gotta pause it. Our stuff doesn't do that yet. It will. The bulbs dim, and you can use a herpstat to do it. If you have any other thing that does that, it will do it because they're dimmable. And we have a dimmable outlet, but the programming we have in our current app won't allow us to do that. The next generation will. So that's something where we have the components for, and it makes sense. We just don't have the programming that'll do it. So that is coming. But no, you can. So for right now, the dimmable outlet actually becomes a really great way to dial in heat. So if you put a halogen bulb on and your basking temp for your snake is 107, but if you go down to the next halogen, it's 80. Yeah. Then you can go with the 107 and dim it down to get the right temperature, and then it'll just turn on and off at that temperature all the time. So there's ways to still utilize that dimming that allow us to control things better. But my end goal is totally what you're talking about. And also, if you use that dimming and a heat sensor, I can put in the programming to basically make that a thermostat. It can control the heat based on the sensor, and all of the hard goods you would have would be one little plug and one little sensor.
That's cool, because especially when it comes to like light bulbs, a lot of us that have had to use light bulbs for heat kind of know the temperature range you can get at each watt for the most part until they start changing all the bulbs on all of us. So to be able to have the ability to set that for a higher bulb and bring that down to where you need it would be awesome. Dun, dun, dun. All right. I want to get to our question. I want to get to the question we posted this week was what type of lighting do you use in your cage? And then I also added what type of animal are you housing in the cage, because a lot of that depends on the animal. So I want to go through several of these and then we'll discuss them. But our friends over at Focus Cubed, the houndies over at Focus Cube said dimmable LEDs for illumination, jungle dawns for plant growth, halogen for UVA, and heat, inline fluorescent for UVB from 2.4% to 12% for basking. For, my God, it's a lot of math in here. For green trees, boas, carpets, insularis, leopard gecko, and beardeds. For ambient animals like cresteds and croc skinks and smaller setups, just inline UVB and mercury vapor for the high heat basking for they have a croc monitor and water monitors. So that's way too much math. I wasn't expecting numbers in there. Thanks a lot, Howdies. Kyle said LED or grow lights for his babies, but I'll probably have UVB. I do want to talk about grow lights in a second, just to hit on that. In all the adult enclosures, except maybe the Boega, as she's never out during the daytime, so it'd be a waste. He's in the chat, I know.
A first call would actually be really good for her, to be honest. A first call on Dumbledore, because they do get refraction, and they also do cryptically bask. So you will see them like move around to like throw some scales out or to put their head out, put some tail out a little bit. Some tail out sounds horribly dirty. Oh my God.
And that may be a behavior you haven't seen yet, but if you give them that lighting, you'll see it.
Yeah. I was just going to say, a lot of the things that we think of as not basking, when you give them certain lights, you'll see what really happens. Because again, we're basing a lot of what we know on these animals off of a snapshot of what someone has either seen in the wild or what most of us have just seen in captivity. And these animals kind of become accustomed to just captivity and doing what we think they should be doing. But, you put some of these lights on them and their behaviors really change. You start to see them coming out in the mornings or in the midday. And it's like you said, even though they may be being on a branch covered in leaves, they may adjust their body just enough to get some of that light shining through. So that first call would be a really good one for those animals you think, oh, well, maybe they don't need a ton of light. A little bit of UV is good.
Yep. Or they come out like, in the later part of the evening when, all the lights in the house are starting to turn off a little bit. They'll kind of come out a little bit more.
Yeah. So try that out, Kyle. And use code Gumbo22, save 15%. Charlie McKee says LEDs for snakes, Reptisuns for UVB for the lizards and tortoise when he isn't outside, and floodlights with timers and dimmers. Jason Creekmore said LED aquarium lights for the plants on a timer, and some other brands for UVB. Timothy said he uses LEDs for most of his snakes, as they have radiant heat panels or belly heat. For the lizards, I use Zoomed branded or other brands that come from for basking bulbs, and then Zilla mini halogen bulbs on the baby Boega and Amazon tree boas. I have used those little mini. I have one of those Zilla mini halogens on one of my lizards. Just
nice.
Now that I'm not running that or working with that specific company, I can tell you guys all this super cool secret. If you have mini halogen bulbs or mini halogen domes, because everybody got excited and I was promoting them a lot when I was with Zilla, and they are awesome, but they are expensive little bulbs. If you just go on Amazon and type in G9 halogen, you can pay 10 cents a piece for them.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that's the G9 halogen. That's all you need to type in. You can get tons of different wattages, even higher ones. I don't suggest going over 75. But you can get higher wattages, different types. Most of them are white. You don't get the red ones, but they're kind of pointless anyway.
If I'm thinking right, that's the one. I'm trying to the bulb there. It's got the two little prongs or whatever, and it has to fit into a ceramic.
Yep. And they're like $15 a piece at Petco.
Well, I go to buy them cheaper at Home Depot.
Yep. Yeah, but even if you get, that's what they are, is G9 halogens.
I put it in the chat.
Oh man, that's awesome! I just looked it up on Amazon.
Yeah, it's super. You can get way more options, better options for wattages, and then you literally get like a dozen for $2.
I like it for all my Uramastics because it allows me with the heat bulb he already has. It allows me to boost the heat up just a little bit more because they like it so damn hot.
Yeah,
and it kind of focuses it.
Well, and that was really nice. I knew people who did Abronia, and we used that to put the heat in a very specific spot so that it didn't warm up the entire cage, which you needed at like 55 degrees.
Nice. I'm gonna save so much money now. Okay, that's one thing I wanted.
That's what VivTech is here for, giving you the opportunities to spend less money on our competitors.
G9 halogen. It goes in the little tiny domes, but they're great because like you get really like a centered hot spot, like right on top of a heat rock, which is what I use it for my Uramastics. Just because those things like to live on the freaking surface of the sun. Let's try to see what everybody else was saying in the chat. Oh, Ryan, you let down Antoine Hood. He came here to see your face. But you know what?
He's driving, Antoine.
Forget
He's
you,
got to be
Antoine.
safe right now. Oh my God.
That's horrifying.
Oh, there he goes.
I hope he was watching, because if he wasn't watching, he missed it.
That's all you get. If he wasn't watching, sorry, bro.
I was
Stop
really
it,
excited
Antoine.
for a brief second, but that's okay.
So
That's
funny.
all you get of me is tiny tidbits.
Oh, look, Antoine saw it. He's happy now.
Oh, good. It's all for him. Yeah, Erica, that wasn't for you. Close your eyes.
Forget you, Erica. It's not for you. So,
I have to join his OnlyFans for that. I gotta pay for it.
My OnlyFans would end up being me in a lot of clothes, just standing there answering people's questions.
We could make bank. I'm just saying.
Yeah, me in sweatpants answering reptile questions.
Antoine wants to see you in a pair of sweatpants.
They got to be gray. They got to
Gray
be gray sweatpants.
Oh, absolutely. Maybe
Oh,
a white
God.
shirt with a stain. Maybe just go with like the sleeveless and really.
The wife beater.
Just get like a white Henley and you'll be
There
good
we
to
go.
go.
What the hell? Why did we go? No, back.
I'll go full Chicago and like eat a hot dog and spill a bunch of mustard on my gut.
Oh my God.
Just win the whole thing with one hand down your pants.
No.
Yep, I'm gonna grow like 7 of my hairs and kind of get a Homer look going.
Oh,
Ryan!
God.
No! Other way!
Hold on, wait. I'll shave my beard.
Ryan!
Oh my God. Just shave the middle, Ryan.
Yeah,
It's right
there we
here.
go.
But make
There we
sure
go. I'll
it's
just-
slightly
I'll
off center
make-
so it drives Erica insane.
Oh my God.
I'll
I
shave the
can feel
center of my
eyes
beard,
and
but
shit.
grow a half bald mohawk.
Why?
Like I
Oh
just
my
hold it
God.
up to the top of my head.
Mm. No.
That sounds great to me. I don't understand. What are y'all freaking out about?
God.
Yeah, she's just over dramatic. This all sounds amazing.
Oh man.
Love
So
you,
what?
sweetheart.
So what changes can we expect from VivTech in the next 6, 7, 8 months or so? What do y'all have got coming?
You know,
He's
so
got
we're-
not his beard.
we are working on bringing in some better halogens. The first ones we brought in were kind of testers, and we ended up bringing them in the only week of -20 weather in Chicago ever, like the whole year. It was really warm, so we had some issues with the epoxy, and we're working on structuring them better and getting us better quality. But we'll be bringing in the next gen of those. Otherwise, you're just going to kind of have to wait and see, and we're kind of up in the air right now. Realistically, the last couple of years have been awesome, but we've kind of been in a maintenance mode just with a lot of stuff going on in life outside of the business. But now we're kind of back at it. So there's a couple projects that I have that I've been working on with Erica that we might be able to have out by the end of the year, which would be pretty cool.
Awesome. I got y'all's halogens. One, I enjoyed your halogen because it was affordable.
Well,
So-
and that was the biggest part. Like I said, I can't make them as cheap as Home Depot because I don't have 800 Home Depots to buy for. So I can't get the amount that they can. But I can get them in still, and I will continue to try and keep them as reasonably priced as I can. Even to the point where we weren't really planning on doing even wholesale with those, just because I don't even have enough margin to wholesale them.
Yeah.
No, we actually could not wholesale them. And on top of it, like, we don't make good margin on those. We're definitely not making a whole lot on those halogens. We really brought those halogens in, A, as testers to see, how we like them, but also B, as a way to fill the gap because so many people needed them.
Well,
So
and
why we really brought them in at that point. And then as this ban is going forward, obviously there is still a need. So we will continue to bring them in.
well, they're important because I don't think a lot of people understand. Like I said, most of my setups, except for this room, really, most of my setups, the heat is for lizards is the ceramic heat emitter and then the UVB bulb. But like you need to put them like right next to each other because I don't think a lot of people realize you'll have animals leave heat to go lay under UVB when the light turns on because that light is important. For a lot of them, that light is a signal of where they need to go to bask, and they'll like sometimes leave heat for us. So you want to keep them next to each other. So having that halogen bulb was nice because it gave me light and gave me heat, and I could heat up that one spot. I liked it. And my blue tongue seems to really like. Well, she's laying it is laying under it right now. So I like the halogen bulbs.
Yep. So we'll keep bringing them in. It's gonna be a hot minute.
Boo.
I know
You'll
Ryan
be
probably blank
fine.
his eyes. He does not enjoy puns.
Anyways,
What's been posted on Facebook this week?
Oh, let me pull it up.
I actually haven't been on the Facebook this week, so I don't know.
Neither
On
of
the
us.
Facebook?
I've been so far off of it. I'm
Yeah. So yeah, we haven't. I didn't see much on Facebook this week either. Most of it was just the show for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually shared this that you've got pulled up on the
Yeah, this is an
screen.
awesome
It's
one.
in the state of Florida, intentional balloon releases have finally been banned, which
That's awesome.
I mean, it's about freaking time.
Well, that's what I told Katie when we talked about this. The crazy thing is, if I took a balloon, not inflated, just a rubber balloon, driving down the highway and threw it out my window, that's polluted. That's a pollution. That's
Littering.
That's a ticket. It's littering.
Yeah.
You get a ticket for that. But if I say someone died and I release a whole bunch of balloons into the sky, we're all okay with it.
I have told people if they release a balloon for me, I will haunt them until the day they die.
There have been opportunities. There have been situations and events that I have purposefully not gone to because I haven't been able to convince people not to do a balloon launch. And then in fact, at one of the schools that I worked at in Louisiana, they wanted to do a balloon launch. And I went straight to administration and I told them, I said, look, I said, if we are going to do this, I mean, this was 6 or 7 years ago. I did talk them into getting the better for the environment balloons. Like they're still not great. But I mean, I told them, I said, look, I said, I will go to the school board with this. I will make it ugly. This is not good for the environment. We cannot do this. We are supposed to be teaching these kids at this school how to be better people. And this is not the way to do it. So there are very few things that I truly get very passionate and on a soapbox about, and balloon releases are one of them.
I think what you need for the next one you know of is just a paintball gun with those pepper spray paintballs. And anyone that lets go of a balloon, just light them up.
Ryan.
Hey, I'll wear a big sandwich sign that says, if you release a balloon, I'm going to light you up with this pepper spray gun.
Yeah.
No.
Even if you're a child, just little Timmy right in the face.
The emotional support alligator from
I haven't followed up on this, so I don't know what the status is.
This is that one from Pennsylvania, right?
Oh no, yes.
Where that guy wanted to go to the baseball game with his alligator.
Correct. But I haven't followed up to see if it's been found.
It got stolen.
It was stolen.
How do you steal an alligator?
Especially in Pennsylvania. It's definitely locked up inside of a house.
That's not small.
No. The article, it talks about how it was in the yard or something, like they had let it outside. And it was
that's always been my goal, is to steal a stunted alligator.
Yeah.
It sleeps in bed with them. How do you steal that sleeps in the bed?
I haven't followed up on this. Like I said, I haven't really been on Facebook a lot this week, other than like my own things.
Robert, haven't you always wanted a super sick alligator that everybody thinks is great?
I mean, I just keep it here in my 780 square foot apartment.
Hey, if you live up in Pennsylvania, you're allowed to. You can do that.
Okay, so Miloradovich said that he thinks that he took it on vacation with him, and that's where it was stolen.
It was stolen and found and relocated to a place with several alligators. That's
where it probably had the crap kicked out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's trying to find food. He's like, wait, they don't just bring it to you?
And I don't think it knows how to alligator.
No.
Where's my blue kiddie pool? I can't do this without my blue kiddie pool.
I need a leash. Where's my leash?
Oh.
At least that thing was so obese it'll live in the wild for like 6 years before it needs to eat.
Very true.
But don't worry, they love him.
This one was cool. It's a pied shark. It's a pied lemon shark. Don't let the hobby see it, because somebody will try to put this in a tank and start breeding it right away.
That's cool.
That's cool.
That guy almost lost a foot.
Did they let it go?
There's a lot of pied stuff. I think I think so. Yeah.
I think they just took measurements.
They got the hook out of it, was what they're doing. But there's so many pied animals, and it's funny in the hobby, someone sees a pied snake and they go, oh, that's super rare. And I'm thinking, but no, like, because the random person sees a pied ball python and they think it's super rare and very expensive. And I'm like, but it's not. But then like pied in animals, it pops up all the time on Facebook videos. I'm like, see, it's not that uncommon of to happen in wild either. Like I've seen pied deer, and you've seen
I love
shark.
pied snakes.
Ooh, I saw a pied moose and I almost lost my mind.
That's
I was
cool.
like, Ryan, let's go. Vacation right now. We have a pied moose to track down. I don't know where it is. Go find it.
I don't think you have a cage for that.
No.
I don't care. I just want to go pet it.
I got a
Oh my
freezer
Lord.
for you.
That'll be like the time you were just going to scruff that wild badger and it wasn't going to be a big deal. That's about how petting a moose is going to go. Yeah, don't worry though. They chased it up a hill and they stopped because there was an icky spider on a fence. Not because the badger would freaking murder them.
It was a giant spider.
Yeah, and then she's like, I'm like, what are you going to do? How are you going to grab a badger? And she's like, I'm just
You
going
were
to scruff
scared of
it.
an armadillo.
No, I wasn't scared of an armadillo.
you
I asked
were.
if they bite
Yes,
because I
you
don't know
were.
anything about them.
You were scared of an armadillo.
I'm far more scared of the possibility of leprosy from an armadillo.
I was just about to say, all I can know about armadillos is when I was a kid, my grandmother had one that lived under her house because her house was like up off the ground. And she would always tell us when we would go outside. I mean, and this is in a super country town on the coast in Alabama. But she would always say, don't go near the armadillo. They carry leprosy. And so that's really all I got.
Truly, that really
don't
only
know
was
that-
a tiny little population, and it's all pretty much gone. But
Exactly.
But it's
yeah.
still,
it
it's
was
still in the
more
back of your
of
head.
for me, it was more, I don't do mammals, ever.
Yeah.
I don't interact with mammals. I don't play with mammals. I don't pet them. I have dogs. That's it. I
She
don't
never
even like
told us
cats.
to stay like out of the field where the cows were or
Which are far scarier.
like
than,
anything like
yeah.
stay out of the trees. Like she never told us any of that.
Robert
It was
has-
the armadillo.
Robert
that
has
was
tons of stories as a kid with cows.
that was what we were not supposed to play with.
He
So
also wouldn't let me pet the baby Angus either.
How friendly are cows, Robert?
Okay, first of all, you were trying to pet a baby
Depends on
cow
the cow.
that had like a mom and a bull next to it, and we were in a minivan, and they were bigger than the minivan. And it didn't look real happy that you wanted to scruff its little baby's head. So yes, I was grabbing you out of the window, going through a herd of Angus cows that looked pissed off, and trying to get you from being pet. But you're like, it'll be fine, and none of them looked at you with an "it'll be fine" face. You weren't reading the room.
I did. It was fine.
So funny.
All right, next
So,
time
Robert-
I'll let you out, and then I'll just drive away.
Robert,
did
what are the
not-
chances she would have been attacked if she tried to pet that baby next to the mom?
45
Mama
out of
fucked her
10. 45%
Yeah.
out of 100. Yeah, I don't know. It was bad.
Yeah.
That mom was looking at her with like one blood red eye and a twitch.
I, grew up on a ranch, and I'm more scared of a mama cow than I ever will be of a bull. Any day of the week.
Yep.
I would have been fine.
She would have been a new paint job on the side of the damaged van.
Oh my gosh.
I was fine. We were like this. We understood each other. The spider, that was scary.
Spider's horrifying. The
There
large cow that would
There
have
was
killed
a
you.
spider in our bathroom at like 3:00 this morning. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I was awake.
Were you awake for that? Yeah, James has a very strict policy in our house that things live based on
No,
the
it's-
amount of
The
clothes
amount
that
of
you have
clothes.
on.
If I
It
am
didn't make it.
If I'm in like jeans and no shirt, there's probably a good chance I'll pick you up and take you outside. If I'm fully dressed, you'll get to go outside.
This one did
If
not
I'm
make it.
in my underwear or less, you're probably getting killed. I just don't
That's
have
a
the
good rule of
time.
thumb.
So
I
that's
also had to pee really bad. So
At that moment,
sorry, you lost
Your
out.
life is inconvenient. Sorry.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's really the spider's fault for being there at the wrong
it
moment.
was like
I get
it
it.
was huge. I don't know what it was.
Can I pet that dog? No. Ryan and I basically like Duke of Hazzard slid over the car at one time because a dog was chasing us in Texas. So no, we do not mess with the can I pet that dog thing. If there's a dog chasing us, no.
Going back to the pied thing real quick, Jason Miloradovich says makes you think that the pied mutation probably came along when there was a common ancestor to all the animals that exhibit it now. Yeah, a lot of things exhibit it. It's got to be something. It's kind of like albino though. Albino shows up in a lot of things, so it's just got to be something related to melanin, and so many things have melanin. So
Well, and that's something you can look at. Like, look at all the isopods. Almost all of them have an orange morph. Almost all of them have a cow morph. They all have similar morphs. Same thing within snakes and animals because they're all similar markers for color, similar mutations. Blue-eyed leucistic shows up in tons of different stuff. Albino shows up in tons of stuff. Hypermelanism. They're just all ranges of different chemicals and hormones that we all share, and that can be hyper or hypo. They can be emphasized or reduced.
Yeah.
And they're just, it's always, it's kind of funny. I love when people are like, those snakes are are man-made. They're not real from nature. I'm like, well, every single morph ever, almost, has literally been one that was found outside. And then we knew how the genetics worked and we figured it out and made more. The man-made part is that then we take all the pretty colors and stack them.
Well, and the man-made part is we didn't allow it to get eaten by a predator.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Albino is common, but the reason it seems so rare in the public in the wild is because all the albino things got eaten as a baby, so you just didn't see them. It's a gene that pops up.
Yeah, that's something that's happened a lot this year. There's been a lot of golden garter snake morphs found in the wild. There's been the leucistics that we've got. I've seen a bunch of people that have seen albino salamanders and stuff that I haven't seen in the past. There's always like genetic anomalies that pop up. It's just like you said, does it get eaten? Do we find it in time? Does it randomly happen that we cross paths with that? I mean, really think about the percentage of animals we probably cross paths with versus what's actually out there. And it's nothing.
Well, it's like Robert, here there's a population. The coral snake is a big issue here because everybody wants to use the red on yellow thing down here. But we have a population of black ones. And so we see so many aberrant coral snake pictures down here that it's crazy.
That is not a good day.
That is awesome. I want to come find them. We're hanging out at your house next time.
Holy shit,
Robert and
James.
Yeah.
I just saw this. Hurricane hunters just flew through that hurricane and got 182 mile an hour wind reading.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I need Mexico to not take this wrong, but I really hope they get hit.
They just updated the track to more east again.
Yeah.
No, fuck that. I need west. I need to go west, way west.
And they're freaking out because they're like, it just hit a bunch of wind shear. It should have decreased in strength.
Yeah.
And it's not doing what it's supposed to do. It's
not at all.
Jamaica.
Okay, well, Jamaica needs to
a hurricane trajectory, or
we're right in the cone of uncertainty now. So it keeps moving east and keeps moving east. So probably by 10 o'clock when it comes out at 10, we'll probably smack.
We'll know more tomorrow for sure because everybody has been saying all week like Wednesday we would know more. I leave Friday morning.
I'm stuck here.
So he'll be here for all of it, but
I've already booked it. If it's a category 5, you cannot stay where you're at, James.
No,
I know.
House
will not be there.
No,
I will come help you pack up snakes and we'll get the hell out.
That's what I thought. I was like, man, I've got to pack up so many fucking snakes.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got stuff from when we moved here. It's all shoved in a closet. I can throw
that
shit
is
in.
why you start packing before you hear about it.
So anybody listening this between what's today, the 2nd of July, between now and the 4th of July, if you live on the Gulf Coast, you better be paying attention because for one thing, a category 5 in July is unheard of. A category 3 in July is unheard of. And it's gonna be a rough year. No El Nino and no La Nina. They just funnel right into Texas and Louisiana. Yeah,
this is the fastest to a Hurricane 5 ever.
Category 5 it was a tropical storm Sunday night, and when I got up Monday morning, it was a category 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So y'all up there with your snow can suck it.
What season do you think it is right now?
I'm not saying right now. I'm just saying that's the worst y'all get is a lot of snow.
That's kind of like saying a monsoon is just a lot of water.
Right.
It is. It's just a lot of water.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's not the rain that scares me. It's the wind.
Yeah.
Nakia in our chat gave you a Facebook group. Did you see it, Erica? Can you join the Facebook group called "You Might As Well Call a Hearse" because I'm about to pet that thing.
Oh, I'm on it. Hold up.
Yep. That's all. This is also the woman that found out that there were black bears at the site that we were looking for Massasauga rattlesnakes, and she almost ran into one.
Every time I watch one of those videos where people get out of their car to take pictures of shit,
that's Erica.
Yeah, they go out. There's a bear or there's a moose or a buffalo, and they're like, "I'm gonna go pet this thing." What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, that is her. At least I will give her credit with the black bears. I was like, all right, if we're going up there, then I'm bringing my 45 just in case.
I did the research, and
she did a bunch of research, and basically, the only way to get hurt by a black bear is to lay under it and kick it in the face until it finally lays on you and suffocates you.
They go.
Like, they just don't do anything.
Well, that's why I'm always.
They blow air at you when they're scared.
And they stomp.
Well, it's like that one video where the guy's like tree hunting and he's sitting or hunting up in a tree and he's sitting there in the stand. And all of a sudden, that bear runs up the tree stand in like 1 second flat and stares at him. And then he goes back down and walks away. I'm like, that scares the shit out of me. My luck, I'd find the one rabid black bear. I'm like, oh yeah, this thing will run away. Nope, it's gonna fucking kill me.
I found the group. I'm joining the group.
The chat says there's only one species of armadillo that carries leprosy, and it's the 9-banded armadillo.
Yeah, only in a small population in Texas.
Yeah, it's
You just don't lick it. Don't lick it.
I mean, I think.
But
I'm
how can
okay
I
with
not?
that.
But it's so tempting.
Then you have a different kink that you got to address, sir.
Not with me, he doesn't.
Oh, I'm trying to go through all of the things here.
Oh, goodness.
Dun, dun, dun.
I joined it.
Oh,
Darren Watson said there have been 4 buffalo incidents already this summer.
but the problem is
People are
because
stupid.
everybody has the internet now and they see someone else do it, so more people go do that thing now.
That's
was
why
worse.
I want to do the bleach chug challenge.
The what?
The bleach chug challenge. I get a bottle of Clorox. I empty it out. I fill it up with water. I look at the camera. I go, "This is Ryan, and this is the bleach chug challenge, and you're a bitch if you can't do it." And then I drink a whole bunch of quote bleach, and then we just put that out there and let the world sort itself out.
Oh my god.
Hey, I don't see
I
a
never
problem with
record the stupid things I do.
I'm just saying, come on. Trump said something about drinking bleach. I'm pretty sure we can get a bunch of stupid people to do it.
Oh my
Ryan.
God.
Ryan, what she means to say is, Ryan, that's a good idea.
Exactly.
Oh,
You just
I
gotta
told her.
weed out the weak.
All I want is the Thanos gloves so I can do the Carlton through the house.
Oh, let me go back to finishing out the things real quick on Facebook. Our listener here, Chris Sanchez, said he went to a Reptile Expo or the Plant Expo and had a giant cart of plants that fits our going to IKEA and then leaving with just plants.
I think I want plants for my classroom.
Go to IKEA.
I know.
They're cheap there.
I didn't get any the other day because I'm fixing to be gone for 3 weeks.
I'm not taking care of your plants. I do want, so with this plant thing, I do want to jump back to what someone said earlier.
Oh.
Are your lights good for plants?
So yes and no. Yes, the only visible light you can see out of our bulbs is 6500K plant diodes. There's 2 of them in the first call in the jungle cover, and there's 1 of them in the midday blaze. We had to put a visible light in there you could see because the other diodes don't make light we can see. So they would just always look off. However, though, it is literally 3 watts of energy going into that entire bulb, and only a fraction of it is going to 2 diodes. So while it is plant light, it is not enough to grow a really heavy light needing plant. Pothos, small, really low light plants, probably not a problem, but it still may not be enough to really get it flourishing. This is not a grow light, but it does have plant light in it. It will sustain some plants.
How? Okay, so
Don't particularly enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm finally in a room with windows because the first 2 years I was at the
at school, so she means to start at her classroom.
Yeah.
I haven't kept her in a room with no windows weeks at a
No,
time.
I just said I wanted plants for my
I
classroom.
understand, but then we went into several different things, and then you
no,
jumped
we
back
did
into
not. We've been talking about
first thing,
plants.
I'm
I
finally in a
didn't
room with
James,
windows.
transition.
Put her back under the stairs.
Her Harry Potter room now.
But my classroom has windows and I had them last year and it was amazing. I never turned my overhead lights on for the whole year. I would just crack open the blinds and then close them if we needed to use the board. It was awesome. So I'm like, now I need some plants.
So, all right, a couple of things. One from the chat, and then it kind of goes into what I would ask. In the chat, they asked, do you plan to make grow lights? And what I want to ask also is, you see a lot of people in reptile groups say they bought plant lights for their animals. Are plant lights that are made for plants acceptable for animal use? Are they good enough, I guess, for animal use?
Or basic light for just a visible light.
But not UV.
So it depends. So when you're talking UV, no, none of those bulbs are going to give you the UV you're looking for. They may have UVA diodes, but they're going to be a lot more sparse. They're not going to be as concentrated because plants don't utilize UVA as much as other light sources. When you're talking grow lights, those grow lights are purple and blue. in red. That if you were using that specific type above your animal or for your plant, your cages, I would strongly suggest not using that. That puts off a lot of light that your animals can see, but it'll be incredibly weird how they see their world. And it potentially could hurt their eyes, not in like a long-term damage, but more in a, I don't want to go outside and keep my eyes open because it's really bright and weird colors. If you're doing standard plant lights, 6500K plant light, or 6500K is the light color for most tropical mid to low light plants. Just search for a white 6500K plant light, and then you're fine. Then you get all the benefits of the plant lights, and you get the benefit of the bright white light not distorting their field of vision. And then using our light will add a UVA. If you can get there are some other LEDs that have a little bit of UVA. You can get one like that. That'll help. It won't hurt. But yeah, no, most of that's just ancillary lighting. It's not going to really add much to it. And we have discussed creating a more plant-based light. But realistically, no matter what I create, you can get something for $20 off Amazon that's going to basically do the same thing. So unless I can find a way to make it significantly beneficial to the way we utilize it, I just suggest using whatever you can find out there for plant lighting, for general lighting. And there's so many cheap ones online. It's just easy to go that way and add it to your tank.
I love a guy who owns a company that makes light bulbs. Like, yeah,
just like the other day at the camera store. We went to the camera store and the guy was like, just get the kid offline from this company instead of buying stuff from us. I'm like,
shop instead of his own
okay.
store.
Well, honestly, do you want the company that's like, buy only ours? Ours is amazing and you should never look somewhere else. Or do you want the company that's like, no bullshit, like, this is what we're really good at. That company's really good for that. I'd go there for that because that's what we do.
And I could absolutely make an amazing plant light for cages and animals. We have the understanding and the knowledge of all the lighting that we do. I have an engineering background. This is what we do. But is it worth me dedicating time to that as a next step when realistically there's already a lot of options out there? I do like the idea of adding a significant of UVA and potentially even a little bit of UVB into plant lights. But that starts getting in then to, okay, strip light kind of things. If we're looking at that, and where are we going to go with that? And we haven't totally defined that path forward in a way that makes sense for most users. And
you're talking about doing lights for a planted tank. You kind of need to cover the tank.
Yeah, exactly. Spotlight. And if I'm doing that, then I might as well just kind of get a 4-foot light that does everything. And that is a future design.
And so I think that's important for people to understand that when they're buying lights. A lot of them will go buy a plant light and go, it's great for the plants, it's great for the animal. But if you're going to do that for your tank, it's great for the plants. You then need a UV light for the animal. And then if you want more light, you need just a light to give you light that you can turn off and on. Like it's not, there's not a one does everything really.
Yeah, that's like saying, oh, this is great for, the dog. This dog food's great for the dog. It's great for me. Are you eating the dog's kibble?
Yeah, so if you want ancillary lighting and you're looking for plant lighting, you can get, what I actually used to do is I would just get fluorescent lighting from Home Depot and do a 3000K and a 10,000K, and it gives you a good wide range of blue light and red light without being blatantly blue or red. And same thing. So otherwise anything that's 6500K is fine for most of your plants you're using in a terrarium.
Yeah, or what was it? The Aquion LED lights. Those were pretty decent.
Yeah, a lot of the aquarium lights are good. Just watch the blues. While the blues are technically kind of in the UVA spectrum, if they're in the wrong spectrum for the animal eyes, they can kind of hurt their eyes. It's kind of like if we have blue lights on for a long time, it can kind of mess with your eyes. That's why you get, looking at screens hurts your eyes after so long, that blue light. So that is something that can happen. So make sure you turn that light off, or the blue night light off. But any kind of plant lights are going to be good, except the ones that are like blue and purple, or like blue and red, or purple and red. Those are specifically made to target only the light spectrums that plants really utilize, and that has nothing to do with our animals. It'll just make their environment really weird to them.
Everybody keeps talking about dog food flavors in the chat. I feel kind of bad because my blue tongue gets better dog food than my dog's.
Oh my gosh!
But he eats less, so I can afford the better dog food for the blue tongue. But I have not tried it yet. Katie, you want to try it?
No.
Oh, okay.
How How as a dog owner have you not tried your dog's dog food?
Because it's dog food. Why have you? I guess is the question.
Yeah,
Okay,
I need to know the answer to that too. Hold on.
I guess
She prefers the lamb flavor, according to the chat.
I guess it's kind of like a veterinary thing because, like, in school, like as a vet tech, they were always like, if it's not something you're willing to try, then don't feed it to your dog.
I'm not going to eat a dubia, but my chameleon loves them.
I guess it was for like the dog food. Like they're like, if you're not willing to try it, then don't feed it to your dog.
I don't go around sniffing strangers' butts, but my dog really seems to enjoy it. I'm just saying, everything my dog does, I don't have to.
Although Uncle Mike's eaten a roach or two, so I at least have a reference.
It's an honest question. I've tried my dog's food because, like, that's what I was taught in school. They're like, if you try.
Yeah, I've seen her eat a dog treat. It's a thing.
My sister got her first tooth on a dog biscuit when she was a baby. She would like hand one to the dog and then chew on one herself. And my mom was like, it's fine.
Oh,
and
anyways.
that we tricked one kid into trying CGD diet. So
he liked it. He loved Crested Gecko diet. I just plop a little blob on his tongue and he was happy.
It smells good, but I'm not trying it.
Yeah, no, I've accidentally it got some on my hand and wasn't paying attention to what it was and like smelling food just licked it off. It's not great. It's not awful. It's not awful, but it's not great. It's real grainy tasting.
Lily liked it too.
Yeah, our kids are special.
Right. I'm not ever coming to y'all's house. I can tell you that right now.
Let me cook for you.
I don't know what I'll be eating. Could be any.
Oh no, when we cook people food, we do some hardcore awesome people food
with a mixture of kibble.
Only for you, bud.
Going through our listener Jason Creekmore said thanks to myself, Katie, and Robert for helping him make the drive from Virginia to South Carolina before having to take a nap. That's a lot of listening to us, man. That's I wouldn't listen to me that long, so I'm just saying thanks. I did get told that last week I spoke too much on the podcast.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
On the podcast that I
sat there
and didn't talk at all because I was talking about this one I saw post around a couple different places. It was boa thought to be a male gives birth to 14 snakes by extremely rare virgin birth phenomenon.
I'm really surprised that I haven't had like 14 different people send me this.
The true title this should be boa, not sexed correctly, does something that snakes normally do.
It's Fox News. What do you expect?
It's any news. What do you expect?
But it's Fox News. Like, oh my God. First off, virgin birth. And second, really?
I just love it says boa thought to be male. All you're telling me is y'all don't know how to sex a snake. It's not like
and
you
also,
saw a penis and then went, oh my God.
Prove to me it was parthenogenesis, and that snake has never spent even 30 seconds in a cleaning tote with another snake.
Right?
Yeah.
And $10 says it was just pops.
It was funny. So this got posted in a group, and Warren Booth, who has done insane amounts of research on parthenogenesis, commented on parthenogenesis, and my response was simply, I don't believe you, or something along the lines of, and I think this is all made up. Obviously, Warren knows it's a joke, and of course,
because he knows you.
Someone
that's
not
why.
knowing me responds and goes, "It is definitely real." I went to explain it, and so my simple response was to them, "Oh, tell me more."
You're such a troll.
I love people online.
I love doing that. I do this.
I know.
I have been told. Well, when you come to me and you're like, you have no idea what you're talking about with lighting, and I was like, well, you're right. I've only designed them, built them, manufactured them. I don't know what I'm doing.
You know nothing.
I don't.
Because
I did read a Facebook one time.
You're a charlatan.
I did get called a charlatan, so that was fun. I was just like, man, way to reach deep for a word.
I love that word.
That's a word you don't hear often anymore.
I love that word, and now I call them that all the time.
You just need to like shirts say VivTech. We are charlatans.
Oh my God, that'll be a new title. CEO, charlatan.
No, charlatan, and on the back, don't know shit about bulbs.
Don't know shit. People, like I said, if anybody needs help understanding lighting, don't join a Facebook group about lighting. Just don't do. Just message Erica or Ryan and ask them about lighting, because you'll get 700 answers on there about how each one of them is wrong, and the only right answer is Arcadia.
Oh yeah, basically. If you don't go in there with a picture of you swallowing an Arcadia bulb with looking up in the air, they're not going to believe that you're really there for the healthier animals.
What, Erica? He's right. Don't fuss at him.
Just because they're crying a little bit and holding it with both hands doesn't mean they're not okay. I just needed her squeal at least once.
That's what she said.
Hey-o.
I'm gonna go pull my VivTech bulb out and like hold it up like this, take a picture, and then like join that group and see what happens.
You should just get in there. Look at this amazing new bulb I've discovered. These things are great, and then just watch it fucking fall apart.
No, just put up a picture of you and be like, I got this VivTech bulb, and then something went wrong, and then just put up a picture of the dude from the Goonies. And just be like, this is obviously a lie. It didn't make me feel any better.
Well, I'm going to make this. This is Robert before VivTech, and then this is Robert after VivTech.
He almost died. Look at the severe MBD that's happening right now.
It is horrible.
Fucking McVeighs.
Charlatans out there, just out there to make money.
Oh my
Yep.
god!
Look at Erica's face, you guys.
If you've ever been to my house, you would know how much money we're screwing you guys out of. It's pennies on the dollar.
Oh God.
Everything hurts. My God.
That's because you used a VivTech bulb.
Exactly. You're getting all that UVC and your hypervitaminosis. You're dying, honey.
You are dying. That's what happened to the rest of the people in the house. That's why there's only 2 left.
That's why they're the only ones that were there. We all had to abandon ship because all the lights were killing us.
Oh my god!
This has got fun.
Oh,
it just, like I said, it always amazes me because I comment every time in there when someone says something about needing a UVB bulb. Every time. And without doubt, someone tells me how they're bad and I'm wrong. I'm like, sorry, I'm going to keep doing it every time. So, again,
and it will be every time because one guy made a report and it contradicts everyone else. So it must be the right thing. And he loves Arcadia and they do. So he's right.
Like I said, my favorite out of all of it was when Arcadia said your bulb couldn't exist when it did. And if it did exist, they'd be doing it. And then like a couple months later, they put out one. I'm like,
so
magic
still hasn't put out one. They're standing strong on that. But both Zoomed and Exoterra have one.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but that a lot of the studies he used in that talk to debunk our bulb actually said the opposite of what he was saying in there and proved that our bulb could exist. And, that it already did, and that UVB diodes have been around since, like, the 90s, and that this isn't really this isn't like, oh, my God, something crazy new. It just finally got cheap enough for us to be able to start working with it. That's the only reason LED UV is a new thing. And everybody freaks out that they're a $100 bulb. These bulbs could existed 10 years ago. They'd have been $1,000 a piece. Like, they were used for medical. All of these diodes are used in the medical field, and now they're used enough where they're cheap enough where we can make cool bulbs with them. This is not new technology. This is not something that nobody understands. This isn't anything like that. Just like all other technology that we have, it existed for 20 years in every other industry, and then it got cheap enough for companies to buy it and mark it up 90%. That's why stuff gets to us late, not because it's new and unique. The reptile market doesn't even have the money. If everyone in the country bought my bulb, it would take that for us to custom make a reptile bulb.
So also a fun fact is UVC, and I do hesitate to bring this up, but there's actually new research that's being done with UVC in the medical industry right now at very high levels. So obviously much higher than what was discussed in that paper and stuff like that, where it's being used in short amounts to treat different skin lesions and to treat like fungal infections and stuff like that. So they're actually using UVC at much higher outputs in controlled manners for treating different kind of skin issues, which is actually really
Yeah, so I thought it was kind of cool that he's bringing up something that actually the UVC might be low enough to be a benefit, which is kind of funny.
Well, that's what happens when charlatans make light bulbs.
I know that's I mean, I don't have a mustache, but everyone should see me like twisting it right now and just thinking about different ways to screw everyone over.
Well, you got to grow one. You got to grow one from now on so you can do that.
No, it was awful when he did. Good God.
She complained. It's not like you wake up and I've got, Tom Selleck, with mustache on me all
Tom
awesome.
Selleck. Don't be bringing his mustache into this.
No, I'm just saying, like, it doesn't happen overnight. You got to give it time, and it goes through a horrific, ugly phase, and it's awful until it fills out. And she gave me just enough time for it to start getting good before she was like, "I'll kill you if you don't shave it off. I'll divorce you. I'll murder everything you love, and I'll bury you underground."
You got to let Ryan go through his ugly phase. Give him time.
Yeah, it was real.
This is why
rough.
I go with you when you get your haircut, and I look like a psychopath because I'm like, look, do not use the clippers, use the scissors, because I'm the one that has to look at you.
All
so
right, we are on 2 hours. We got to get out of here. If people
that's right, it's your night to cook dinner.
It is. If people want to get a hold of y'all,
I have a little kid who's been looking at me going, "I'm hungry."
Yeah, reptile lights went off. It's time to go.
If people want to get a hold of you and listen to your lies about light bulbs, what is the best way they can get a hold of you?
The best way to get a hold of us is through Facebook. Find us on Facebook, Instagram. I think we're on TikTok as well. And then you can also email us at info@VivTech Products and visit our website, VivTechProducts.com. You can also find me and Erica on Instagram at HerptileMom and at HerptileDad. And follow what we do. We post a lot of the stuff that we do with VivTech, as well as the research and things we do and all the crazy animals we come across. So anybody is welcome to just kind of follow us and feel free to ask us questions. We both kind of take to the idea of the only reason to have this much knowledge is to share it.
I don't want to get off on
that's my love language is vomiting.
And I don't want to get off on a tangent. I just want to mention one thing before we go. How the hell do you guys not own an air fryer?
Because I have too many random kitchen appliances, and
that's not a random kitchen appliance. You need an air fryer.
And I like reheating food.
I had to force her to get a microwave.
What?
I didn't have a microwave when he moved in.
Air fryers are the best way to reheat pizza or French fries, but
the air fryer when hurricane.
I make my breakfast in the air fryer every single morning.
I never used
Erica left a salmon in a microwave for a week. I don't want her to have other things to leave food in. You ever open up a microwave that has had a salmon in it for a week? Because I'll tell you, it's as awesome as you can imagine.
I mean, our kid will leave a plate of food in the microwave overnight, but normally I find it the next day.
This is why I didn't want to have a microwave.
I was busy. I didn't realize she put it in there. And then she left. And then the next day it started to kind of smell it, but I couldn't find it. And then a couple days later, it was stinking up our whole house. And then I finally decided to crack the microwave because I was on the phone with her. And it cracked open and the smell hit me and I started dry heaving on the floor immediately. Slapped it shut as a cloud of flies came out of it. And then just duct taped the whole thing shut and threw it out at the road.
I had last summer, Ryan. I had a freezer go out in my garage that had a bunch of venison in it, and I found it on about day maybe 4 or 5, and all the vacuum sealed bags were like balloons, and I just had to put on some old clothes, put on a bunch of a plastic bag over me, and put on gloves, and just go out there and just throw it all out. And luckily, the trash truck was running right then, and it was. I feel you. It was the most horrible shit ever, man.
That is not the only appliance I have duct taped shut and shoved into a dumpster.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did that with a freezer once when there was a person in it.
Yeah, a deer and a half thawed in a freezer once in our kitchen.
Yeah, I had to use the microwave.
I want to go check my freezer in my closet. Make sure it's running.
Erica, just buy a air fryer. Just do it. It'll change your life. Buy an air fryer.
The kids can use it.
You love French fries, and frying them actually sucks. And you would love.
I will be honest. My kid cooks so much more because of the air fryer. Because a lot of the stuff, she's very concerned about burning herself, taking things out of the oven, and you can get things that go in the bottom of your air fryer, like silicone pads, or you can put like special paper down in there so for the basket. And Joe will cook a lot more in the air fryer than she ever will in the oven. Toaster ovens are also really great.
Ovens are great. You're right about that.
Toaster oven. I had a toaster oven and I had a skillet. I was happy. He was all like, we need a microwave. And then I went on a trip for a week and just had a little.
Ryan almost died.
I've got to go.
All right, we'll wrap it up. All right, if you want to get a hold of us, it is the Reptile Gumbo Podcast at gmail.com or on Instagram or Facebook or the reptilegumbo-podcast.com. Check that out. Go check out our Patreon, our Discord. Join our Discord. Eric is in the Discord. You can ask your questions in there. But yeah, we will be back next week with someone. Haven't figured it out yet, but we'll be back next week. Thank you everybody for listening. Ryan, Erica, thanks for being here. Hang on 1 second. We'll see you all later.
Flashed us.
I saw that.
What? Whoa. Anyways.
Bye.